my first question is like, before you joined the program, what was going on with you that had you looking for an option?
Uh, I've been looking for an option because I hadn't slept well, it seemed like for 30 years, around 30 years. And I tried everything and all the myths that you mentioned, I fell for all of them. And everything I researched was, the same old thing, keep your room cool. Bed is only for sleeping. Um, I tried every medication,
Hmm,
from Ambien to natural supplements and everything, and nothing seemed to work. And ironically, I was just looking on Instagram, I guess, and um, I'm in the algorithm for sleep, so I'm getting all these things. And yours came up, and I think it said something like message me if you're having problems. And so I did, and expecting it to be just another computer that gets back to me. And you got back to me and said, well, why don't we talk tomorrow? And I'm like, well, wait a minute, this is a real person, I mean,
hmm.
so we talked on Monday, I remember, maybe 6, 7 weeks ago. And you asked me a few questions, and I said, yeah, sure. What have I got to lose? Let's try it out.
Gotcha. So do you feel like, what do you feel like made you decide that this is a program you wanted to try?
I think mainly is that you're a real person. I mean, you responded to me. Most of the other things have been just, computer generated information going through everything, and I wasn't seeing anything new.
Huh,
Uh, so
gotcha. And so when we were talking on the phone,
yeah.
do you feel like, I guess, was there a point in the conversation where you were like, hey, this might be good for me?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, if there, what was the kind of aha moment there. But, um, you had mentioned that most of your clients within 2 months have solved their problem. And I'm thinking like 30 years, I can do 2 months of this. I can try that out. So I think it was just the timeline, and you seemed confident that with everything I had told you, that I wasn't some uh, helpless case or anything like that, that you could help me out with this.
Wonderful. Okay, cool. And so far, what do you think has been the biggest aha moment for you that has helped you fix your sleep?
Couple of things. One is all these myths that you dispelled. So right off the bat, I mean, in the first day, um, you got me so that I wasn't worrying about a lot of these things. And by nature, I tend to be someone who worries a lot. And I think most of us who are complaining about insomnia are worriers on this sort of stuff. So you got that out of the way. The other one, big one for me, and still is this 17 hours.
Hmm.
So right off the bat, you had me staying up much later than I normally would. And even now, I'm sometimes thinking like, well, maybe I should cut back on that. But I'm finding now that uh, that I've adjusted to it, that I'm enjoying it. I know that when I go to bed, I'm going to fall asleep when I want to fall asleep. When
Yeah.
I when I finish doing whatever I want to do in bed, uh, you know, whether it's practicing Spanish or whatever, when I roll over, it seems like within seconds, I'm asleep.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking at the clock anymore, which used to be a big thing for me, always
Wow.
looking at the clock, seeing how much time I had left to sleep or how much time I wasn't sleeping. So, to sum it up, I'm not worried anymore about sleep. I know that when I go to bed, I'm going to fall asleep. And for the most part, I'm going to sleep through the night. Seems like, at least for the last month or so, it's been that
Yeah.
way.
Okay, awesome, man. And what would be your advice to others out there that might be watching this video and be struggling with insomnia?
My advice would be just follow your simple recommendations and be open-minded about it. Um, it works. I, I mean, like I said, it's been 30 years for me of not really sleeping well. And if I can do it in a 6 week period, get to this point, anybody can. I'd say just dive in and go with your suggestions on everything. You've got nothing else to lose.
Mhm,
And what I keep telling everybody that I talk to is that it's easy.
mhm,
There's no complicated things here. I mean,
mhm.
it's all simple things. It's not complicated.
Yeah, I agree. And everything I teach the students, I do the same thing myself. So
Yeah.
I know, that's the best thing is that humans, we're all unique, but our our drives and our nervous systems and things are all very, very similar. And
Yeah.
when it comes to sleep, it's not so complicated. But the problem is unlearning all of the false
Yeah.
information.
Yeah. That's why I say, just be open-minded about it and practice it. And as you're very good at is telling us like, a bad night isn't the end of the world. You're going to have some setbacks. Be prepared for them. You even give a timeline, which was pretty accurate, on like week 1 to week 2, week 3 to 5, whatever it was,
Hmm, hmm.
it's pretty accurate. Those things do come up. And if you keep that in mind, like, oh yeah, Andrew said this was going to happen, and it did. And just get through it and don't worry about it. Be good to yourself, and it's work. It works.
Awesome, man. Yeah, if you got a plan and you have every contingency mapped out, you can't lose. It's like in
You,
war, I mean,
you
obviously, you
can't.
can, but
And it's a plan that really helps you. I'm a planner. I'm a person who likes all this stuff, but I can over plan. And you talk about that. And I was using programs and everything, and then I'd freak out because I'd wake up and I'm like, oh no, it's going to throw off my sleep score and all of that
Mhm,
sort of stuff.
mhm.
So there's planning and then there's over planning and stuff. It's being prepared for this, but not overly prepared to the point where it's defeating the purpose.
Gotcha. Wonderful. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
And you've been an awesome student, and I'm super excited. The other day, I was kind of thinking, I was like, man, we're getting like close to the last month. That's
Yeah.
kind of sad in a way. I
Well,
don't want to be.
I've thought about that too, and I keep thinking like, the problem with your job is you work yourself out of a job here,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and that's what I think is one of the problems with a lot of the other things is that I'm not sure if they every all these things want to totally cure you because they're making money off from you along the way.
Yep,
So,
yep.
I always worry about that too, but you're
Mm,
actually making a
interesting.
difference that is not going to benefit you in the long run, except for that I'm going to recommend people to you and everything like that. But as far as, keeping a student on or whatever, you're
Yeah,
working yourself out of a job.
yeah. I met a coach a while back. and he taught me the concept of if a program is works, then you should only need to take it once and have the skills you need for your life and not need the coach anymore. And I thought, yeah, that is it. That is how they should be.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, what's the point? You're just spinning your wheels.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, hey, man, I appreciate all that
Yeah. My,
input.
my pleasure.